Sweet. Are we live?
Yes, we are. The webinar is now broadcasting to all viewers.
Awesome. All right. Hey, what's up, you guys? So it's Alicia from Fit Pro Essentials, and people are starting to come online right now. And should we do a sound check? This is my first live webinar. I want to make sure I get everything right. Should we do a sound check and make sure? Can everybody
absolutely.
hear us? So I guess type in the chat box if you can hear us, and just let us know. Can you see anybody? Oh, woohoo! Tammy, nice! Yay, this is so cool. All right, my first one, very excited. All right, you guys, so let's get this party started, and this will be recorded, the whole thing. So I'm Alicia, for those of you who don't know me, from Fit Pro Essentials, and this is an exclusive webinar for the people in my fitness business Freedom Formula Facebook group, because I love you guys. Like, you guys have been phenomenal. The engagement in there has been incredible. And I really want to over deliver and just give you guys as much value. And so every month I'm committed to doing some live training or just training in general to help you guys with your business. And so we did a little poll, and overwhelmingly everybody wanted to learn more about online training and adding that as an additional stream of revenue to your business. So I brought in the amazing AJ Mirzad to help out to teach this webinar, because he is the expert on this subject, and just a phenomenal guy. Gotten to know him over the last little bit a lot better, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he is just super passionate, incredible. Just, you can't help but be inspired by listening to you. Honestly, your videos are amazing. Your messaging is incredible, and you've helped a lot of trainers build an online business and a brand and magnify their message and their impact. So I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Alicia. I'm super pumped for this webinar. I have a lot of awesome stuff I'm going to share. So, yeah, I'm fired up.
Awesome. So AJ's prepared an awesome presentation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through about 30 minutes. He's going to present and just spill his amazing knowledge and share, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end. So you guys can type in, yay, everybody's commenting. Okay, awesome. So yeah, and then we'll open it up for Q&A, answer your questions, and thank you to everybody who commented on the post inside the Facebook group, because we're going to start with those questions. That's basically what AJ used to craft his presentation. But start to finish, he's going to talk about building an online presence and an online business, and I'll let you take it away, AJ.
Thank you, Alicia. I appreciate it. All right, so I'm fired up. I'm going to go into my presentation. Just want to make sure you could see my PowerPoint screen. I believe you could see my video, Alicia's video, and a PowerPoint presentation. So if you just type yes in the chat box, if you could see a screen that says Online Super Coach. I want to make sure everyone's got their eyes on that. Of course, if you're calling in to Zoom, you can't see anything, but if you're on your computer, just type yes. I know, great. See a lot of yeses. Fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Great to see everyone. And also, if you could just type in where you're from. So I'm hailing from New York City. Great. Coming in so fast. South Jersey, Dubai, Kalamazoo, New Zealand, Texas, Chattanooga, British Columbia. Wow, there's a lot of people on the line. This is super exciting. Toronto, Florida, Cleveland, Ohio. All right, let's jump right in. So I'm going to just deliver for about 30 minutes or so. I'm going to go super fast, super focused, and then we're going to go right into some Q&A. And obviously, I'm here to serve you guys and add as much value as possible to answer any questions you have in regards to online training. So let's jump right in. So my presentation is focused on a very simple concept, and that is how to build a high profit and low stress online coaching business. And my intention today is super simple. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know in terms of developing your own online training business from start to finish, right? If you have nothing, like not even a website, not even an online presence, how to really take the step-by-step process to, one, build it out, and number two, become profitable and kind of build it with a strong foundation based on scalability, all right? And why online training? Because freedom. I was a personal trainer myself for about 12 years, and around 2010, I started my online training business. when I first got into personal training, I was so passionate about it. I was an overweight kid. Fitness changed my life, and I started to train clients, back-to-back one-on-one sessions. But at the peak of my business, I was doing one-on-one training, group training. I was getting up at 5 a.m., work till 9 p.m. I was, training back-to-back clients, long-ass days. Then I would go home, and I would go into, customer service and marketing. And literally for 10 years, from 2000 to 2010, I didn't take any vacations. Year 2000, I went to Cancun. After that, it was a decade of no vacations because I was a slave to my business. I was just frustrated, burnt out, and that's the only thing I knew, just personal training. So I knew people were making money off of online personal training back in 2010. So I said, I'm getting burnt out. I'm screwed up my relationships, my happiness, and I'm not just taking any time off. Obviously, when you go away from your personal training business, even if it's like leverage with group training, if you're not there, you're not making any money, right? So I would miss out on, obviously, the sessions. I was trading hours for dollars, but I also had this insecurity where if I went away on vacation, my clients would be unhappy with me. I'm not allowed to have fun. So I said, I need to build a better system because I don't want to be an elderly personal trainer because that's the only thing I knew. So I'm like, I got to take a risk and start learning this. And what I've been able to accumulate over the past 6 years allowed me to quit personal training, scale up my own online personal training business, and now I help fitness professionals, coaches, health consultants build their online PT businesses, okay? So I want to just share everything from start to finish, all right? I'm very big on over-delivering, but I just want to let you know, please give me permission to talk very fast. I'm very passionate. I might drop a curse here and there, so please don't judge me. But when I talk about this stuff, I'm in the zone. I'm in the flow, but I talk very fast, okay? And also, I want to respect your time. I know you're very busy. You're taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. So I'm going to go through the slides. I'm not going to be able to look at the chat or answer any questions until the end of the presentation. So I would appreciate your cooperation with that. So like I said, I'm here. I blocked out a lot of time to really serve you guys. I love Alicia. I really respect her. She's awesome. So I want to over deliver now and in the Q&A. So like I said, as you're going through this presentation, take notes, play all out. I'm going to be asking you some questions, and then any questions that you have, please save it for the very end. Okay. So I want you to really go all out because I'm going to be asking you some questions. We're going to do some exercises. And the more that you engage, the better you're going to really get an experience out of this presentation, because I don't want it to just be information, but also a transformation, okay? I'm going to be sharing some new concepts that will give you some major shifts. And you're going to walk away, even in your own business, very differently. So just play all out. Just like, there's two ways to go about this presentation. There's a way of just like, listening to it, being passive, being on Facebook or Instagram or checking your emails and just like, okay, this is good information, blah, blah, blah. Or it's like turning off all distractions, getting super focused, super dialed in, taking notes. I mean, it's so important to handwrite with notes. Actually, your thumb is connected to your brain. So whenever you write something with your hand, it goes to your subconscious mind and you retain it much better. So I'll be asking you some writing exercises. Make sure you're fully engaged here. Turn off all the distractions that you have. And my goal is very simple. I'm going to walk you through the 5 systems you need to get your online business up and running. But before we jump in, I really want you to suspend disbelief, okay? Because I'm going to be sharing some case studies. I'm going to be showing some actual testimonials of people that have used this system. And you'll get to understand like, wow, sounds too good to be true. And you might be saying to yourself, like, it's not going to work for me because it seems unrealistic. But I'm going to walk you through exactly how it's done. So when we go into the thinking exercises, just suspend disbelief, just get fully focused, play all out. And then at the end, we'll go into how this could apply to you in your business, okay? So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is AJ Mirzad. I'm a best-selling author and the owner of Life Fuel Fitness, online fitness coaching. I also host a podcast called the Online Super Coach Show. Essentially what I do is I interview million-dollar online fitness coaches. So I look at the best of the best in the online coaching world and I just ask them like what they're doing. What's your secrets to success, right? Success leaves clues. So I love to have them on the show to really just, find out what they're doing differently, but also to change people's perspectives on what's possible in the world of online coaching. So, other thing that I do is I run the online Super Coach Mastermind. So I really help a lot of fitness coaches and health coaches scale their businesses. And I develop systems and done-for-you templates where it's like a done-for-you process of developing your entire model. And also, I am launching the Nesta online coaching certification. So for many years of teaching online coaching, a lot of people came up to me and said, well, is there a certification for this? And I actually said, yes, there is one, and I created one. So it'll be coming out in the next few weeks, and I'm super excited about that. So if people want to really understand what it takes from like the liabilities and the behind the scenes of running an online coaching business, there's a certification coming out just for this particular subject. So I've also been a business mentor and a coach for 12 years. I'm a lifelong entrepreneur, and I'm addicted to peanut butter. Like I'm like a crackhead. I cannot have that stuff inside my house. I'm always feeding for it. Before I tell you about my journey, I want to go way, way, way back and how I got into fitness in the first place. So this is me at my heaviest. I was 60 pounds overweight, had these big chipmunk cheeks, man boobs, big old belly, and I was overweight for most of my life. I literally stuttered. I was so shy, insecure. And, you know, at my heaviest, I was just very self-destructive because I had this like external pain of being overweight, but internally, man, I was really depressed. I was really in a place where I just struggled with my life. So I got into, you know, drinking a lot till I blacked out. I was doing drugs. I mean, you name it, every drug in the book, cocaine and crystal meth. I mean, it was really bad. I was just very self-destructive. And it was just like a lot of internal pain because I was not happy with my life. And what ended up happening was like at my heaviest, and after some really bad experiences, overdoing illicit substances, I had a breakdown. And I said, you know what? Like, I can't live my life like this anymore. And then what I decided to do was like just turn my life around. So I've always been very extreme with the eating, extreme with the substance abuse, and extreme with the self-hating. So I said, I'm going to go the other end. I'm going to turn my life around. And that's where I discovered fitness. And basically, I said to myself that I'm going to spend a year just learning everything I can about fitness and nutrition. And a lot of it was just like going to the extreme, like spending 2 hours a day doing cardio and eating like turkey breasts and lettuce. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but after some time, I was able to lose the weight. And I said, you know what? Like my body's changing, and at the same time, I'm gaining more confidence. I'm getting a better belief about myself. And that's when I decided to like really understand like what it takes to understand the dynamics of exercise science and nutrition. So I went to school and I studied that, and actually basically got a personal training certification, and I started training clients. And at first it was just this passion to like help people the way I help myself. I was like, fitness changed my life, so let me try to help people do the same thing that I did. And over time, I started getting a lot of referrals. Like, I don't know what I was doing marketing wise. I didn't even have a website. So over time, I started to basically get people refer and clients, and I started going, you know, over time, building my business. And then, you know, this is me in like my peak shape. You know, I started a personal training business, and over time, I actually went back to school. I got my master's degree in psychology. And for many years, this was my identity as a personal trainer, as a person who used fitness to change his life. But then over time, like any profession or any aspect of our evolution, we outgrow something that we're passionate about. So then I said, you know what? Like, I can't be working inside the gym my entire life. Even though this was a big part of my passion, I decided to really learn how to develop my online training business. And then that's exactly what I'm going to go over today, what led to my transition, but also what I've learned in the past 6 years of my journey. So we're going to jump right into it really quickly. This is where you want to take some notes. The 5 systems that you need to start a profitable online fitness coaching business. So the first system is authority expert positioning. Number 2 is attraction, targeted lead generation. Number 3 is automated sales systems. Number 4 is converting high ticket sales. And the last system, most importantly, is developing a leverage online infrastructure, okay? So we're going to talk about the first system really quickly, and that is choosing your target market. So what's the difference between a family doctor and a brain surgeon. Okay? Well, a family doctor is a generalist. And essentially here in the United States, every zip code you go to, you'll find a family doctor. They earn about 6 figures a year. But then you have a brain surgeon who's a specialist. And they focus on brains, right? It's a very small scope of work, but they earn literally millions of dollars per year. Well, the world of online fitness is exactly the same thing. If you're just doing general weight loss or general muscle building, you're going to get decimated, right? Because you have these billion-dollar companies like P90X and Beachbody and Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig who own so much market share as a generalist. So the key thing in being successful in online coaching is to be a specialist, focusing on one target market and being very niched in that small space. And I'm going to tell you about one of my students who did just that. I'll walk you through his entire model. This is a testimonial that he gave me, and he started with me within a year's time. He basically trained a lot of moms in his training studios based in Canada. His name's Robin. And basically, he said, I want to build an online coaching business. So I said, okay, well, what type of results do you get with most of your clientele? And he said, well, I trained a lot of moms. So I'm like, cool, let's build a mom's online coaching business. And let's start with, let's say, a 90-day package, $1,000 price point. From there, implemented everything. First month, sold one package a week, scaled to $4,000 his first month, right? Then he said, well, okay, I understand the systems. I got my target market. I'm attracting these moms. I have an online fitness coaching program I'm selling. I'm putting them into a virtual infrastructure. Let me raise my price and get more specific with my targeting. Then he changed his target to busy working moms. So a little bit more specific, he raised his price to $2,500. And then the following month, he sold one program a week, scaled to $10,000 a month. Then, I was like, this guy's doing everything right. I really want to keep track of everything that he's doing, have him as testimonial on my website. And then had him do a podcast for all my other students. We did a private podcast workshop. And this was like 6-7 months down the line. His business evolved even further. So then he went more specific to work with, busy working moms that are more like entrepreneurs, business women. He has the same exact 90-day program, but now he sells it for a $4,000 price point, okay? By getting more specific, more targeted, within that increased price point, he sold 7 packages in 1 month when he came on my podcast. So he scaled his income up to $28,000 a month. So here's a testimonial that he shared by, like I said, starting with a $1,000 price point, going to a $4,000 package, and from there, scaling everything out. So he goes, hey, man, not sure if you want to record another coaching workshop with me, maybe at the end of October. Since June, I've been consistent with grossing $20,000 to $30,000 a month. Expenses are about $5,000 a month. Been killing it, and you've brought a lot of value and confidence to make that happen. Thanks, AJ. Okay? So this was a very short time frame where he was, somewhat specific, focusing on moms. Then he got ultra specific, smaller market, raised his prices, really became the go-to person in this specific niche. And he's making like $20,000, $30,000 a month, and the expenses are very low because when you have an online training business, you don't have overhead. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have a facility. Okay. So this is one example and why I want to really drill into you how important it is to focus on a specific specialization when you're going online. So the next thing I want to talk about is the zone of genius, okay? And this has a lot to do with your target market. So what is the zone of genius? Well, it's very simple. You have different skills and abilities that you do throughout the day. And these are the different zones that you're operating from. So you have your number one, your zone of genius. So this is like your highest leverage activity. For example, my zone of genius is teaching, and it's creating videos, it's creating content. It's basically teaching people marketing and sales. So like right now I'm in a flow state. I'm like energized. I could do this for hours on end. I love this stuff. This is my zone of genius, okay? What's your zone of excellence? Well, personal training is my zone of excellence. For many years, I was passionate about personal training, but then I got, to the point where I got a little burnt out, getting up at 5 a.m., working till 9 p.m. I mean, your zone of excellence makes you money, but it doesn't fire you up. It doesn't get you like, oh my God, like I love this, right? It takes your energy throughout the day, but it makes you money. So that's like your zone of excellence. Then you have your zone of competence. Your zone of competence are activities you do throughout the day that, let's say, for example, you're doing meal prep, or you're doing some lawn work, or you're cleaning your house, okay? Like, you're competent at them, but they still drain your batteries. They still drain your creativity and your energy. Then you have the zone of incompetence, okay? That's like something that you should not be doing, and it's taking up a lot of your time, energy, and your brain power. So an example of the zone of incompetence is like, let's say, for example, if you had to hook up a cable modem, right? So that's something that maybe it'll take you 6-7 hours to do. Yes, it'll take up a lot of your time, a lot of your energy. You may have to go online and read books. I mean, the manual to find out how to do it, but it's very draining. So you could go on Craigslist, hire someone for like $20. They'll do it in an hour, or you can spend 5-6 hours trying to figure it out yourself. So when it comes to like finding your target market, when it comes to finding out what I call your superpower, you want to be in your zone of genius, right? So what are the activities that just fire you up, that just like give you energy, creativity? The more you do them throughout the day, the better you feel, right? So like right now, if you have a piece of paper or type it somewhere, just write down like what fires you up. What are those activities that give you energy, creativity? And what's really interesting is I was in this mastermind. It's this high-level mastermind that I was paying like $25,000 a year for. If you don't know what a mastermind is, it's like a networking group, and you have to pay to play. But this particular one, I was around a lot of successful people, like people that had like, $10, $100 million. There's a few billionaires in the group. And the one thing that I noticed was like the billionaires, they only operated in their zone of genius, meaning that they did the least amount of activities in all the different other places, right? They use all their brain power for the high leverage things, the things that only they could do. And they had teams of people that outsource everything in their life, even to like do their grocery shopping, or even like fold their clothes or their laundry. And what is really interesting is like a lot of billionaires and a lot of geniuses wear the same clothes every single day. Like, Steve Jobs, RIP, Mark Zuckerberg, Albert Einstein. I mean, there's a lot of people, they wear the same exact clothes every day because it reduces decisions. When we do things throughout the day, we have decision fatigue. So essentially, when you're developing an online coaching business, it allows you to be a lot more leveraged by doing the things that you love, the things you're passionate about, the things that just juice you up. So we're going to go deep into that zone of genius because, like I said, we want to focus on your target market. And the question you want to ask yourself to find out what that is and to be a lot more effective and more just like powerful in your energy is to ask yourself, what is your superpower? Okay. If you could think about like the 3 activities that you do throughout the day that give you the most energy, they give you the most creativity that you love doing. Like, let's say, for example, if I were to put $1 billion in your bank account, what would you start doing more of? What would you stop doing? Okay. So you want to write this down somewhere. Think about this. What are your superpowers, right? So when your clients are giving you compliments, what are some things you do in person that you would love to do all day long? And thinking of it from like an online training point of view, how can we use technology and leverage to maximize a superpower? Okay. Do you love teaching? Do you love performing? Do you love writing, right? Do you like just talking, creating podcasts, writing books, publishing DVDs, program design? What are your superpowers? Okay. All this is going to come important. It's going to come full circle because this is the foundation of your online training business. Once you start to really think about your superpower, ask yourself, who do you want to be a superhero to? Now, this is the target market that you want to serve online, okay? So ask yourself, if there was a specific client that you've had success with, that you just love working with, what are their demographics? Is it a male? Is it a female? What are their age groups? What are the pain that you heal? A great question to find out who you want to be a superhero to is ask yourself, what pain do you want to heal in the world? Okay. So think about, is it, injury rehabilitation? Is it depression? Is it helping people with their confidence? Is it helping athletes? So who is your dream come true client? Who do you want to be a hero to? But before I go into this and you start doing this exercise, Alicia, I just want to check in if there's anything you want to add to this.
Yeah, no, you're doing phenomenal. It's so important, and I 100% agree. The more niche you go and the more specific, the better results you're going to get, the more you're going to be able to charge, and the more you're going to be able to impact that person's life. So getting really specific, I think so many people, like you said, are generalists, and I think that you're 100% correct. And this goes from offline and online businesses. The more specific you get, the more you can create that message that really resonates with that person, have a deeper impact, and really connect with that person and have a bigger impact and result. So doing
awesome.
Great.
Thank you. So it's like, you're this amazing superhero with superpowers, right? And you want to pick one demographic that you want to be a superhero to. So like, what makes you the best in the world, right? If there was like this one area you could freaking dominate, what would that be? And that's a question you have to ask yourself, right? Like if you could leave a legacy and be known to be the best in one specific niche area, what would that be? And as you saw it, like in my student Robin's example, the smaller the area of focus, the less competition and the more you could charge. And the secret of charging more is the more a person pays, the more they pay attention, okay? Because you want to be world-class. You don't want to just be like this generalist, this weight loss expert or person that helps you build muscle. What's the smallest specific area that you can just dominate, okay? You really, really want to think about that. So when you're finding out who you want to be a hero to, you want to just go into the minds of your prospective clients. There's a great marketing book. It's called the Robert Collier Letter Book. And there's this one line in there that changed my life. Once I really took this line and just embedded it within my mind frame, my whole business took off. And it says you want to enter the conversations and your clients' minds. When you could articulate the fears, the dreams, the desires, the frustrations of your clients better than they could say it themselves, then you could not only market to them in a much more profound way, but you could also inspire them into action. So thinking about this person you want to be a hero to, answer these questions like, what are their demographics? What are their fears? What are their frustrations? What are their wants, their aspirations? What's their identity? How do they see themselves every single day? Are they a mom? Are they a dad? Are they a bride, right? What are their unmet needs? What are some competitors, some people in the marketplace that are vying for their attention? So you want to get crystal clear on this. Scribble whatever comes to mind right now, totally cool, but feel free to work on this in detail on your own time. And then you just basically go into the most common frustrations, the most common wants. I call this the why stack. So basically, when you're putting out your marketing pieces, when you're developing your sales funnels, when you're going into even creating a virtual infrastructure, you're creating it for one ideal client, the person you want to be a hero to. So you want to have everything to be congruent. So let's say, for example, if I'm going to be an online fitness expert for brides, I know what are the frustrations of a bride, okay? So the moment they get engaged, they have these fears, right? They're staying up at night, staring at the ceiling, like, oh my God, am I going to be in shape for my wedding, right? Am I going to look okay? Am I going to feel okay? I mean, there's all these desires that they have, and through your marketing, through your sales process, and through your back-end program, how can you meet these needs, right? So what are your clients' frustrations? What are their wants? And most importantly, what is an example of a winner? Let's say you're the online brides fitness guru. So a client that you've worked with and got amazing results with, how does someone apply this and they change their life? They had a badass wedding. They look awesome. They got so much compliments. And let's say, what is a bride who did not follow your advice and what happened to them? Okay. So like I said, use your own example, the only person you want to be a hero to. And most importantly, get into just getting into their mind. The more and more you do this, the more profound your business will be and the more of a specialized expert you will be in the world of online fitness coaching, okay? Next exercise, quick question over here. What is the ideal short-term income that you want to accomplish in the next few months? So let's say, for example, by the end of this presentation, you got a lot of momentum. There was a catalyst that said, I'm going to start my online coaching business. What is the ideal short-term income you want to create in the next 2 to 3 months? Okay. So write that down somewhere. What is that number? Is it $1,000 a month? $5,000 a month? $10,000 a month? Right? Like my student Robin is doing $20,000, $30,000 a month. What is your ideal income from online coaching alone in the next few months? Okay. And really just ask yourself, like I said, suspend disbelief, because I'm going to go into the how. Right now is the what. What do you want to be? We're going to go into the how pretty soon. Okay. So ask yourself, what do you want it to be? Because I want you to really realize that there's like so much possibility with this model, and there's really like no limits of what's possible. Okay. I'm going to share with you a quick case study. One of my students, her name's Celeste. So this is a testimonial. She wrote, "Hello, loves. Great way to head into the gym session knowing that I have $10,000 in accounts receivable I generated today from 2 premium clients. This makes her $30,000 in 4 weeks." Okay. And with her target clientele, every client she aligned for, and they fit her alignment perfectly, right? So she attracts the exact person she wants to be a hero to. So she charges $5,000 for a 6-month online personal training program, okay? And she got, $30K in 1 month. She got 6 clients. But here's the kicker. Here is the surprise. So Celeste, she's only 19 years old, and she's accomplished this, okay? She's been in my program for a year, and she's killing it. She's dominating in her target market. She's got a killer online program, like a 6-month, kind of like self-love, confidence for women only, right? Young women, age group. It's got a 5K package. And at the same time, she's growing her brand. Like a lot of my students, they start with their online infrastructure, but then they go into writing books and starting podcasts and doing retreats. Because once you have that target market, once you have that focus, then you want to go into the whole element of building out systems, right? Growing your brand, because you have a person you want to be a hero to, and you want to serve them with all these different platforms, okay? So for example, here's some numbers. Like the type of online coaching that I teach has a higher price point, longer durations, like 3 to 6 months. So like, for example, like if you have 18 clients at $1,000 per month, that's $18,000 a month, okay? And that comes out to $216,000 a year. So let's say, if you're like Celeste, you have 18 clients at $5,000 per month, right? That could lead up to $90,000 a month. In 1 year, that's $1,080,000 a year, okay? The great thing about this business model is that it's 80% profit, right? It's minimal expenses. Obviously, you work from home, you have more freedom. So you decide if you want to add this to your current business, or if this is something that you want to do long-term, like obviously you could tell from the world of social media and how people are presenting their programs that online training is not just a fad. A lot of people are doing it. Most people are doing it wrong. They're selling like these low-priced diet plans and workout plans. They're not legit making it a business, but obviously there's 2 options. You could make it a supplement where you're selling a more high-end package for a longer duration, or transition to making this like a full-time thing, okay? So it's totally up to you. So I'm going to show you like obviously how to create these type of packages, how to sell them, but most importantly, like my own personal story on like how I've like scaled up my online personal training business over the past 6 years. So what I did with online training, the biggest thing that I created was just leveraging my expertise, right? Instead of like trading hours for dollars, being in front of a client, giving them like nutrition and workout advice, I created a system, a virtual infrastructure. So I put all my best stuff, let's say, into this dream come true 6-month transformation program. And basically, I just did it where, let's say, in 6 months, it's 24 weeks. So I did like week by week, like if I had a dream come true client experience, how they go through each week to get like the best nutrition, best workouts, best mindset, and I just put it through this automated infrastructure, right? A client signs up, I give them a registration link. Here you go, start your journey. They get automated emails, text messages. I'm gonna go into like all the apps and all the things a little later in the presentation, but I wanna be respectful of your time. But basically allowed me to like scale up, because I'm not inside of a gym. I just can't take on, a certain amount of clients and like semi-private and personal training. So I started taking on literally thousands of clients over the past 6 years, because once you're attracting them, in terms of the fulfillment, you're not trading hours for dollars. You give them a link to an online virtual infrastructure, right? And thankfully, it allowed me to make insanely good money because it's very high profit, very low expense, because you're not delivering your time or your energy. You're creating something with your knowledge and experience, and you're selling that. So I was growing very fast and very smart, okay? And this is the problems I had with one-on-one personal training, okay? So I didn't own the business owned me. So it wasn't congruent with my long-term vision of trading hours for dollars. There's only so much I could do that for. So like my big shift happened, like I said, in January 2010, I was really burnt out. I was a slave to my business. I invested in myself to work smarter, not harder. And that's when I started to hire coaches and join masterminds. And basically I hired a lot of online personal trainers, and I said, what are you doing? What's your system? And it was fascinating to see, like, so many people have different ways, right? There's many ways to skin a cat. So I literally like took the best of all the different mentors I had, the other online personal trainers at the time, and I implemented the best of everything. And I just learned a system that allows you to work hard once, okay? You do the work once, and you set up a system, an infrastructure that you can and clone yourself. You use it over and over and over again, okay? So the biggest thing that I did was I stopped selling stuff and I started selling systems. So I created a leverage online coaching system, right? So the biggest thing that I do is I sell myself to high-end programs, $1,000 and up. So I have two main programs that I sell, $1,000 and $5,000. So one thing I do is I realize, like, I don't need as many clients, right? If you want to create, let's say, $8,000 a month in online coaching, you have a $1,000 program, you set up a marketing system that sells two programs a week, 2,000 a week, $8,000 a month. That's a six-figure business, okay? So the great thing about that is you're selling you're selling systems. So you're not selling your programs per session where you're limited by the hours in the day. You're selling this virtual infrastructure that the client gets served through, okay? So the common mistakes is, taking on as many sessions as possible without a long-term plan. And the biggest thing is, like, obviously, when you're first starting out, it's good to get the experience and it's good to be in the trenches, training clients, getting the knowledge. But over time, the biggest thing that happens is burnout. Obviously, not taking vacations, not taking time for yourself. I mean, if you have great systems, great leverage, that is awesome, right? One thing that's super cool about Alicia is he teaches leverage. He treats systems. So you're not grinding in your business all the time, So the people that are just grinding it out without having these systems, obviously, over time, it'll deteriorate you. And the one thing I've learned of, like, coaching coaches is, like, most people don't have a long-term plan. And this was, like, my biggest fear, because if I was just doing personal training, I had this nightmare. And the nightmare was just continuing to, like, trade hours for dollars, continuing to just, do sessions and just be a slave to my business. And my biggest fear was turning into an elderly personal trainer, okay? So it was like being at this place where this is the only thing I knew. This is the only model that I had. So it was like do or die when I transitioned into online personal training. And that's why I said to myself, like, I need to learn how to do this, build a foundation, and then scale up. So, like, my biggest purpose, like, right now is, once I learn how to do this, is I have this, like, insane drive to teach it to other people, right? Because I want 4 things for every single person that I come across, right? My biggest urge is to help them make more money, right? Get more freedom, get more flow, be in their zone of genius, and to have more fulfillment, okay? And these are just some of the results of, like, some of the students I've helped, like, short term, just getting their systems up and running. Robbie over here scaled up his online coaching business. First month, he started in September, made $16,000 in 1 month, sold a $2,000 program, right? Scaled up very quickly. Anthony, he started in his first 15 days, made $12,000, fully organic, all in online personal training. And then he went on to make $21,000 his first month. And this is a very remarkable story. My student, BJ Cook, he actually posted a video on my Facebook. He just had a really tough time in his life. Very talented personal trainer, amazing with the human body and nutrition. And just basically, he didn't tell me this until after he joined my program, but he was on food stamps and was struggling financially. I mean, just didn't have any money, didn't have a pot to piss in, was sleeping on someone's couch. And he basically joined my program with money that he borrowed. Like, I didn't even know this. I would not have advised anyone to do this, but basically jumped right in. And the first week, he was able to make $11,000 in profit in only 7 days. So essentially, he sold a $500 12-week bikini body challenge fully online. He closed 22 deals in 1 week and was able to basically scale up his income to $11K in 1 week very quickly. Got off food stamps, of course, started building and scaling his business, and now I'm grateful to say BJ is doing really good with himself, obviously changing a lot of lives, but having more control over his finances and his time. So this is like my main model, right? My whole business, my whole philosophy is based on this. It's about finding your superpower, right? Who you want to be a hero to. And then it's becoming an authority in your market, attracting your ideal client, selling your services, and then serving them through a virtual infrastructure. And those outside questions are more along the lines of like, what you want to do. You know, these are the questions. Like, if you had to serve one target client, what do you love learning about? What are you insanely curious about? If you're going to be like this guru that writes books, creates podcasts, does seminars, what do you love learning and teaching and talking about? What are you so curious about? And like I said, what pain do you want to heal in the world? What's the one thing you want to eradicate? Is it obesity? But who is the person you want to be a hero to specifically? What legacy do you want to live, right? 100 years from now, what do you want to be remembered as, right? If you were to like create this amazing online program, what would your legacy, your great, 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 great grandchildren, they look back at their grandfather or grandmother, what would they say about you, okay? And what I help to do, like I said, is first and foremost, build a basic infrastructure, the foundation, the online business, but get a person to the top. And the top of the business is where you're performing and publishing, okay? So you're performing like on something like this, like a webinar, you're performing at a seminar, you're performing your coaching, right? Delivering a leveraged group model, or you're publishing podcasts, publishing videos, publishing books, publishing DVDs. So this is like the main model, right? You want to learn how to attract, sell, and serve. And then from there, you want to go into scaling up your business, right? At the top of the mountain, you're performing and publishing. If you think about someone like Tony Robbins, right? Everyone knows who he is. That's all he does all day long. He's performing and he's publishing, okay? He doesn't get caught up into a lot of the things that are a zone of excellence or a zone of incompetence. He's just delivering his expertise in a high leverage manner, okay? So I'm just taking a quick time check over here, making sure that we're good with time. Let me just check in with Alicia. How are we doing?
Doing awesome, AJ.
Okay, cool. So what time is it right now, by the way?
We are 3:13.
Okay, 3:13. Okay, so there's a lot that I want to go into, but I realize that we might be going a bit over time. So I would like to kind of be a little more interactive here, answer some questions. You know, you guys got like a basic understanding, basic overview. But before I go into like another hour, because I could just go on and on and on, I love this stuff. I would love to serve some specific questions about online personal training.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a list of questions if you want to start with that from the comments from people left in the Facebook group. And I think now that they have a really solid base and understanding, and I think this is important for any area of business that you touched on, is to go in and put all of any limiting beliefs aside, because you can't accomplish your true level of success if you still hold on to those self-limiting beliefs. So that is huge, because with an offline business and an online, you really can accomplish anything you want if you have the right plan in place. And obviously coaching and mentorship is a big part of that, and being a part of like the community, like our Facebook group, you have the support that you need to be successful, but sometimes we're the people that hold ourselves back. So you have to put that to the side and just embrace that we have so many opportunities and the technology to be able to expand our reach and bring your business online and add additional revenue streams like this, because this is an opportunity that wasn't available 20 years ago. Now we can just do so many different things. So I'll start and I will kind of read you questions.
Yeah, I just want to like share one thing, because I just love what you said. And that's why I respect you so much, because everything that I spoke about, like, you're so aligned with that as well. You're all about systems, all about leverage. Obviously, that's what you do. You're performing in publishing. You know, you're at the height of your career, and you inspire me. And like, the one thing I always want to talk about, like suspending disbelief, is from my own personal experience. You know, when I was like at my busiest, like with personal training and back-to-back clients, getting up at 5, working till 9 p.m., you know, I was making like $8,000 to $10,000 a month. But, you know, I had this big fear that obviously wasn't tangible. Some months were good, some months were bad. And I had this like belief system that if I had to make 10 times more money, like go to $100,000 a month, I would have to work 10 times harder, because that was the system that I was in. So, of course, I would never hit that goal because I was already burnt out. I was always tired. And I was like, no way in hell I could work 10 times more. I'm already at all my cylinders. But what online coaching did was it gave me a model that I could literally earn 10 times more a month, you know, which thankfully I do now. And at the same time, I have so much more freedom, right? It goes against logic. So I've learned to like get out of like logic, get out of like this belief system that is going to be more like the past, or it's going to be like this like gradual growth. Sometimes life is crazy, how you could grow exponentially, but at the same time, be in a place where you have freedom. Like, I'm so much happier than I am now. I'm so much more fulfilled. You know, some days I literally take 2 naps a day because I have all these systems, these infrastructures. I could have never thought about even taking 1 nap when I was doing personal training. But like I said, I was suspending disbelief. Now I look at my life like I honest to God, I feel like anything is possible, you know, just because I was able to get over this like belief structure that I had about my business, about my lifestyle. And I feel like you could create any type of lifestyle that you want once you understand the right systems, the right leverage. But like right now, I'm standing in my superpower, you know, right now, right here. I love this. I could do this all day long. And like I said, for the respect of everyone else, I could have just kept on going. But I'm like, let's stop. Let's answer some questions and, you know, serve some people.
Awesome. Absolutely. All right. So let's get into some stuff. So the first question I have here is, okay, well, you touched on this a little bit, but programming and packaging, how would you package up your services to deliver that effectively online and creating leverage? And what kind of price points are you seeing that are working in the market right now?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have clients that are starting off, let's say, at $500 to $1,000 on the low end. And I have other students that are selling a $35,000 6-month program. Okay. So this is the first thing that I want everyone to do is like, imagine your target client. If they're coming into you, like, what's their onboarding process? Let's say, for example, if you're creating like a dream come true 12-week journey, like, what do you do at your absolute best? So think about it or write it out. Like, what would you do the first interaction with your client? Let's say they come into your gym, come to your boot camp or your group training. What would you do the second week? The third week? What type of nutrition, exercises, mindset? And then what you eventually do is find out what type of softwares, apps, technology can leverage that so they get that same exact experience. So you're developing like this dream come true 12-week program, but you're not having to physically do it yourself, using technology and leverage to automate that process for you. When I first started this business model in 2010, like, we didn't have the technology or the apps or the systems. Right now, like, there's so much cool stuff out there. Every single day, something new is coming out. So it's understanding how you can use technology and leverage to take the skills you do already and develop it into a virtual online infrastructure.
Absolutely. So talking about those systems and software and apps, what do you recommend would be a good place to get started? Like, I know you recommend a few key pieces of software to get your business off the ground. What would you recommend for that?
Well, it's kind of hard because, like I said, it depends on what type of business model the person has. Mm-hmm. You know, everyone's different. Everyone delivers a different superpower. So I can't give it like a general answer, but I can kind of tell you like what I do. So okay. I have like a 3-part process for my 6-month online transformation program. You know, I sell for 2 price points, $1,000 and $5,000. And it's essentially like a 6-month membership portal that like the content's drip fed. So let's say it's 24 weeks. And then there's an email autoresponder that sends in the content. And then what I use is an app called Lean Buddy. And that's kind of like the heart of the program. So that kind of creates like daily accountability, daily check-in assessments, and basically it gamifies the process. One thing that I've learned over building this business is like the number one thing you want to focus on is client engagement. You want to make sure they have great results. They ask for referrals. They're going to retain inside the program. So I learned to make it a game. So if you're not familiar with gamification, is like you make the fitness journey like a game. So what I did is I used an app for them to do things throughout the day that they earn points. And then they check in with the points on a daily basis throughout the different activities I have them do. And then basically they're kind of using a mobile app to communicate with me all the time. So that develops the coaching element. So I don't do like Skype sessions, or I don't like, answer individual emails. They check in, they do assessments, all the data, utilizing different apps and softwares, and all that data goes into one place. And then I have a coach that works for me, and she goes in every night at 10 o'clock and she checks the data. So I don't have to spend my time doing that, because obviously when you scale your online business, you got to hire another coach to come in for an hour or two to help with the customer service, help with the feedback, all that stuff. And I'm very transparent about that. I tell people it's me and my team of coaches, but the great thing about it is the fact that this is all leverage. So I just had to do the work once, and every time a client signs up, they go through the same exact process for those 24 weeks.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. How much, so let's say a lot of the people that are listening on the webinar, they have fitness businesses, or they already, have their full-time thing they've got going on. How realistic is it them to start a side stream of income with online training? How many hours a week do you think they would have to invest in learning new systems and put time into developing, let's just say, an extra $1,000 a month to get started, to be earning $1,000 a month? How much time invested do you think would take for them?
Well, I mean, this is what I teach. I'm very big on jumping off a cliff and then building wings on the way down. So once you have your target market figured out, that's the foundation of your business. As you can see in the screen in front of you, there's three main factors. There's attract, sell, and serve, okay? So what I have my students do that are starting out is I basically set up their marketing system first, right? Get them a flood of leads right off the bat. So I have really sophisticated lead generation templates and campaigns and systems, a lot of done-for-you stuff. So they get a bunch of leads that are applying for their program. And then what I use is a warm-up funnel. So when leads are coming from me from the internet especially, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, they're like 1 or 2. Ice cold. Who are you and why should I pay you money? So we got to get them to know, like, and trust us. They go through this warm-up funnel going from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ready to buy. And then let's say we sell $1,000 package, okay? So client will pay you $1,000. You've acquired them, in 1 week. It's a fast turnaround. They come in through your marketing system, they go through the warm-up funnel, and then they go through your sales process. Once they buy that $1,000 90-day package, then you start building out the back end. You kind of do it as you go. So what I provide is the templates and the back-end infrastructure. Like I said, a lot of the membership portals, the apps, I have stuff that's done for you. So 80% of it's done. You add your 20%. So essentially, client will pay you, $1,000 goes into your merchant account. You have to deliver a 90-day program. Let's say 90 days is 12 weeks. Instead of having to build it out all at once, we build it out as we go. So we build out week number 1. So I provide the systems, the infrastructure, the blueprint for all the software. You provide the content, whatever you do for your clients' nutrition, your workouts, your mindset, you provide that element. We build out week number 1. Client goes into week number 1. And then we build out week number 2. Client goes into week number 2. We just do this until we get to 12 weeks. Then the program's completed. So essentially, while you're building out the program week by week, you're adding the content, you're adding the systems and the processes. Leads are coming into the marketing system. They're getting warmed up and sold the packages. And then you're just building the business as you go. So that's what I have a lot of my students do. It's like I said, jumping off the cliff, building wings on the way down. You're essentially pre-selling a program that doesn't exist and then building it out as you go. That's the beauty of technology.
I'm a huge fan of that model, and that can apply, guys, to anything that you're doing in your business. Just jumping in. You don't have to have the whole thing built out, and you can just build it piecemeal as you go. In fact, like I was just talking about this with another client who's we're building out an internship program for their new trainers. They're onboarding their new trainers, right? But an internship program could be 8 weeks long. Like your online training program could be 12 weeks long. You don't have to have the whole 8 weeks or 12 weeks built to sell it. You just have to be a week or 2 weeks ahead of them them at any given time so that you have material ready to be delivered. So don't wait for perfection. Get a solid week or two so you don't drive yourself crazy and stress yourself out. And if you're the kind of person that needs some extra time, have 3 weeks of content built out. You don't need to have the whole 8 weeks or 12 weeks finished before you take action and get started. You'll lose momentum if you do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay. So what is your take on Facebook ads? We had quite a few questions about that and how well those are doing for the online training.
They're awesome. There's 3 ways that I recommend getting leads for an online personal training business. One, you have free marketing, which is like organic Facebook posts on your personal page, on Instagram or Snapchat. It's free, or your email list, okay? That's one element. And then you have paid marketing, which is like Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Instagram ads, Twitter ads, pay-per-click marketing. You're paying for your ads to generate leads. And the third is partnership. Partnership is you team up with someone and you're both serving the same person. It's non-competitive. This is a great example of partnership marketing. I'm serving your followers. You're going to serve mine. We're both adding value. And, we're in a place of abundance. We just want to help people, right? So with paid marketing, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. Facebook ads are great, right? There's also, like I said, YouTube in-stream ads. I do a lot of those, and I teach those to my students as well. They're really annoying ads that pop up like 15 seconds before the video starts. You have to click skip ad. But those are really good because the thing about Facebook is they're great and it's awesome. I recommend. I have a lot of templates and done for you campaigns for Facebook ads. But obviously, when it comes to weight loss and it comes to fitness, there's a lot of restrictions with it. So I'm all about diversifying. Really, what you want to do with Facebook ads is utilize it in a smart way, where basically you're not selling right off the Facebook ad. You're essentially capturing the lead. You're putting them through some type of warm-up process, taking them from 1 to 10, and then selling them, on the website, obviously outside of Facebook. But it's like a different process. But in terms of paid advertising, I'm just a big fan of it. It's very predictable. A lot of my students, they master paid advertising. It's one of the fastest ways to get a turnaround. Obviously, there's only so much you can do through organics and through partnership, but Facebook ads are good. You just got to utilize a good solid funnel. And so one thing I do is I just have a really solid done for you online personal training Facebook funnel that a lot of my students just follow. So I have a lot of proven campaigns. You plug and play, but essentially it's that 3-part process. Cultivating the lead off Facebook, trying to get the lowest lead price possible, utilizing an idea called retargeting, where basically you put a pixel on your website, you put a pixel on your landing page, and then it shows it to the people that went on the site. Maybe they didn't opt in, but it's a super cheap way of getting more leads. And then once the lead goes into your marketing system, they get warmed up from a 1 to a 10, and then they have an opportunity to buy your coaching program.
Excellent. Yeah, that's different. Obviously the warming up process is really important, but it's a different strategy from running an offline business where you can send them, to an application page or a landing page and have them apply right there because you have that, that instant know, like, and trust because they're in your local community. Online's a different game, so you have to go through that different process. That's really important to know. Okay, so let's see. Somebody asked that app that you talked about to track points. Was that Lead Buddy that you said, or what was the name of that?
Lean Buddy.
Lean Buddy. Got it. And then somebody asked also about that book that you mentioned earlier. Do you remember the name of that book?
Yes, that's the Robert Collier letter book. It's an old ass book. It's from 1920, but this guy was making from the equivalent of money today, hundreds of millions of dollars in direct response marketing. He was sending out these little ads through the mail in classified magazines. He was selling books, but he understood the conversations and his prospects' minds, and just by using marketing, essentially the same thing that we do, right? Whether you have an offline business or an online business, if you have a small business, you're doing direct response marketing, right? So he was one of the originators in it. He's a pioneer, and a lot of my own marketing knowledge comes from learning the foundations of it, because the same stuff that sold books in the 1920s is going to sell online personal training, in 2016.
Yep, the human brain, it doesn't really change. So
there you go.
that process. It's so important. All right. Somebody just asked, how do you warm up your leads? So are you using ClickFunnels? What are you using for your funnel creation?
That's a great question. You know, obviously you're cultivating leads off the internet. So they're ice cold leads on a scale of 1 to 10. They're like a 1 or 2. A lot of these leads are coming from different countries, you know? So I'm marketing and like globally, right? It's not just your local area, which is awesome because you get a lot more leads, right? You're targeting 7 billion people potentially. So there's 3 really good warm-up funnels that you could do online. One is the autoresponder warm-up. So obviously to go into your email list, you have a killer set of high converting autoresponders that take them from a 1 to a 10. Number 2 is a video series. One of my colleagues, he's in my mastermind, his name's Jeff Walker. He created what is called the 4-part video launch, product launch formula. He's also the one that taught me about the whole seed launch, about pre-selling a program that doesn't exist and then creating it as you go. So you're familiar with Jeff Walker. He's awesome with like a 4-part video series, you know, and with testing that, you want to make your first video the best because most people make the action step from the first video. But like I said, if you know people are coming in on a scale of 1 to 10 as well. So let's say, for example, someone's been following you for a while, they're like a 5 or a 6. Maybe they need 1 autoresponder or 1 video, and they're going to just go for the kill. They're like, all right, I want to buy. Other people are ice cold. They're like 1 or 2. They'll probably go through like a month of autoresponders. They'll probably go through like 4 videos. You know, they need more likability, more trustability, more credibility. Yeah. And then the third vehicle, which is my personal favorite, and what I teach for a lot of my students, is a webinar. This is the fastest warm-up vehicle there is. In fact, that's the main thing I teach my students. I have a whole template of a high-converting online training webinar where basically you can have a person go from a Facebook ad, watch a 30-minute webinar, go from a 1 to a 10, and then from there, pull the trigger and buy. So I like the webinar the most, but in terms of like a fast turnaround, you got a webinar, an autoresponder, and a video series, right? Mm-hmm. So these are like the short-term warm-ups. You have long-term like blogging and podcasting and book writing and content creation on social media. These take months and months and months. Obviously, they're great to have in your tool, but if you want to use paid traffic, cold leads into a fast turnaround, you want to use those 3.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And I think with video, it's so important because people can really get to know you. And there's so many voices and noise in the marketplace right now for you to have presence and for people to see how authentic you are and genuine and just get to know you as a person. Like I had somebody just email me the other day saying, hey, I feel like I know you. This is so cool. And I'm like, that's so cool, you know, and I've never met this person before in my life, but because I'm out there and I'm putting my name out, even just content, you're engaging with people, they feel like they know you. That's so important. I think that's missing from a lot of marketing strategies. So video is awesome. For the webinar, webinars are getting a lot more popular, obviously. It's something I'm actually going to be doing in my business too, to promote one of my programs that I've got coming out. So for you, the whole thing is automated. Like you have your people go from a webinar and then do they go to a call? Do they go straight to a payment link? What's that process look like? Or does it change per price point?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's 2 types of webinars, right? So one is to sell on the webinar itself. And then one is to sell a phone call or a meeting. And basically you're selling off the webinar. So I've found that if you're selling something for under $2,000, you could sell it on the webinar. Obviously, it takes more work, more high quality marketing, copy, persuasion. But if you could sell something on the webinar itself, you're going to make a lot of money because you just send traffic to the webinar, it converts like crazy. But it's going to take a lot longer. So what's easier and you're going to get a faster return is selling off the webinar. Using the webinar as a warm-up vehicle, let's say if you're selling something for $2,000 and up, you want to use a webinar to warm people up. Traffic goes to the webinar. They go from 1 to an 8, and then they're like an 8 or a 9. You get them on a quick call, quick email, you convert them, okay? So obviously, if you're like willing to put in the work and master selling on the webinar, it may take you like 20, 30 attempts because you're going to test and tweak and put it out there in the world, send traffic to it, test it. But if you want a faster turnaround, send it to the webinar, use it as a warm-up vehicle, kind of like an autoresponder, and then sell them outside of the webinar.
Beautiful. I mean, the whole point of having this is leverage, creating leverage. So you put in the work a little bit now, and then it pays off forever and then you can duplicate it and build it into a different funnel and then just keep building and building from there.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, once you do the work once, you got a attraction system, a sales system, and a service. Mm-hmm. you're just kind of like filling it out with leads because you're just getting more leads, you're selling, and then you're just growing exponentially. And like, thankfully, that's what I was able to do. And that's what I love teaching, because you do the work once, and obviously for 20, 30 years, you're building a lifestyle business that's based on a virtual infrastructure.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, another question for you. What happens when somebody's finished with a 12-week program? Do they feed into another 12 weeks? Do they go into like what happens? They mastermind or?
Oh, absolutely. I'm all about upsells and downsells. So you're going to have, obviously people that are taking action and they're doing awesome and they're following everything. You always want to make an offer. I mean, so one thing I do is that basically I just have like a maintenance plan. So let's say if they're doing a $5,000 program over the 6 months, I say, okay, we're now going to go into a maintenance plan month to month. It's $197 a month to continue on. Mm-hmm. And you want to time it where basically in your automation system, let's say at the 5th month, you're getting them to have the conversation of here's the next step, here's the next evolution of the program. But one thing I've learned is like when I use the gamification, the daily habits, the check-ins, the assessments, people are so like just they habitual with it. They love it. They're going to just pay to go because it's a big part of their life. Many people do really well because it's a lifestyle thing. That's the beauty of technology. Once you integrate it into a person's life, you're the one that controls that technology, and then they obviously want to continue on with it, So it's always getting it into a month-to-month plan. But also another great income source is selling supplements. You're training people online. You're going to sell them supplements, whether it's like ProGrade or BioTrust. And there's so much other companies that basically do drop shipping. You just provide the link. People are going to need protein powder, fish oil, obviously multivitamins. Instead of going to GNC, they buy from you off your supplement link. And then every month you're continuing a couple of $100s off of that. And then they need equipment. So Amazon, all these different companies do drop ship equipment where you just provide the link for the equipment. And basically they want to work out from home. Most people that get online coaching, they're going to work out from home. Very few people go to the gym. That's why they hire online coaches that are specialists in their field. So you're going to sell them equipment and make money off the affiliate links.
Love it. Yes. Adding all those additional streams of income is super important. What other questions do you guys have? Feel free to post some questions and ask. Let's see. I think we got every question that was asked on here. Let me just go through this list real fast. Software for membership sites. For my membership sites, like I haven't used ClickFunnels membership site, but I know that that's a really great membership site. I use Wishlist to protect the content, and then I use OptimizePress as a theme. For that, do you have a recommendation for how to store content for your programs?
I use like a mix of different ones because also I create like different niches. Like I said, like one of them is for like busy moms, like 29 to 55. And then like I just have a marketing stream that goes to busy moms, a sales funnel, and then for that one I use Wishlist.
Yeah.
Then I have like another membership site. I use Digital Access Pass.
Okay.
I also use one called Smart Member. So it's kind of like having a variety of different like back-end programs, but those are the 3 ones that I use.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, guys, post your questions below. Oh, there's some questions. Nope. How do you warm up? We already talked about that. I mean, I think that we covered everything. I think we pretty much covered everybody's questions. You did awesome.
Awesome.
Here's one, startup budget. What would you expect somebody who's never done online training to have to invest to get started if they were doing it completely shoestring on their own?
Well, I mean, I think the most important thing you have to understand is like marketing and sales. Like I said, the 2 parts of this 3-part factor, because if you're able to like, deliver value on social media, you could create an offer. Let's say you create this like 12-week program on your Facebook page. You create this awesome Facebook video that's like, hey, I'm taking on people for this new online program, and you understand a good solid sales funnel, right? You enroll someone. Maybe you get 3 people, they pay you $1,000 each. You get $3,000, you get profit, and then you say, okay, the program officially launches in 2 weeks, okay? And you just do some stuff to buy time, send them a questionnaire, send them a liability form, do an onboarding thing. And then in 2 weeks, you take that $3,000 and you reinvest it back into building the membership portal. So basically, you're kind of using the funds that you created off of your sales and marketing to build out your back-end online program.
Awesome. Yeah, you don't get much better business model than online.
Yeah, because like, if I had to open up a gym, I would need like so much money for the lease. and the equipment, and like obviously it's not something I could just do, right? Whereas an online program, if you're savvy and you have a lot of value with your followers, you could create an unbelievable offer, create a beta test group, take let's say BJ, you got 22 clients at $500,000, created a beta group, and basically in his first week, you make $11,000. All that money goes back to creating a website, a membership portal, the whole back end, So just like understanding the attraction and sell model.
Love it. All right. So some guys, I'm new to this whole Zoom funnels. We have a bunch of questions in the Q&A that I didn't see.
I'm here. Like I love this stuff. I could talk about this stuff all day long.
All right, sweet. So let me go through these questions. Tool, software, we already talked about that. Did you create your own online system of your product services you were delivering, or is there a generic system that you purchased and you were able to modify to deliver your service or product?
So that's a great question. Basically, like what I do for my company, Online Super Coach, is like create kind of like a done-for-you template based on a person's superpower and who they want to be a hero to. So everyone has different things that they deliver depending on the target market, depending on what type of coaching they want to do. So I usually send people a questionnaire, take a full asset and inventory on what their superpower is, what they do in person, and then what we do is we figure out like how can we create technology and an online system to develop that online. So it's just really, like, I kind of customize it based on a person's needs. So not everyone gets like the same type of app, the same type of software, the same type of recommendation. It's just really based on what do you do in person that we could create this dream come true online package for you. And then based on that, figure out your pricing, your marketing system, and then your back-end infrastructure, and then build something that's more along like what you do in person, but finding the right technology and system to match up with that.
Perfect. Somebody else was asking where you found your commission salesperson, and I'm going to piggyback off that and just say the rest of your team. Where do you find your team?
Yes. So I'm all about keeping a very lean operation, high profit, low expense. So just over the years, obviously paying for a lot of these high-level masterminds and understanding that like these people that are very successful have big teams. Like it's that whole adage, the bigger the dream, the bigger the team. So I said, how can I develop a solid team but not have to spend a fortune? So one thing I've learned a lot was how to get virtual assistants. You have an online business, so you don't need to have people showing up. You need people to work from their home because you're working from home. This is like my office right here, So I did a lot of research in like finding virtual assistants in the Philippines. They're probably one of the best places to get virtual assistants. So basically I have like a team of people there that help with my like web design, customer service, graphics, stuff like that. And then I have, like I said, a US based coach that's helping more with like the back end, the coaching, the fulfillment. I have another US based VA that helps with like outgoing calls, follow-ups, little tasks on the website, podcasting, stuff like that. And then commission-based salespeople, where basically I just give them 20%. So you could find commission-based salespeople on like Craigslist, different Facebook groups. A great person is a person who went through your program. Let's say if you focus on busy moms, you have a stay-at-home mom who understands your program and has some sales skills, could talk from a point of view to talk to other busy moms. I went through AJ's program, had incredible success, right? And basically what I do is I just feed my salespeople leads. So I'm able to cultivate leads through the internet. They get the lead, and for every lead they close, they get 20%. So at a $1,000 program, they're getting $200, right? At $5,000, they get 20% of that. So I'm more than happy to give them 20% because they're closing the sale. It's still a very high profit business model. They're happy, I'm happy, but I don't have to pay them a salary. And there's a lot of people that want to work from home and do commission-based sales.
Absolutely. And I think what you touched on was really important. I think when people are just in that overwhelmed state, they're trying to find help and they want to like have one person that they can just dump everything on, but you can't do that. Like for you, and you have different specialists that have graphic design, and then you have somebody that does something else that they're specialized in that. And so I think it's really important, like, and you have a separate salesperson. So having one person for everything is not going to be your best option. You have to find a couple different people that are really good at certain skill sets and then go for that. Do you have a site for your Philippine VAs that you found?
So when I first started, I was using this website, onlinejobs.ph. But now I've got a little more sophisticated because I was just using, like I said, I made the mistake of like having one VA do like all these different tasks. And that was the worst thing in the world. Just like we all have superpowers. So you can't expect someone to do like customer service, graphic design, follow-ups. So then I use this other like private company now, and they set up a team for me. So they have like different VAs doing different things, and they kind of manage the team. So like, let's say if a VA is not following through, I just deal with like the supervisor that manages everyone as opposed to dealing with the individual person. When you're first starting out, jobs, let's say for example, onlinejobs.ph is good, but you got to do your due diligence. Obviously, you got to train someone, test them. And the problem is when you get an individual VA, you know, they could just like get up and leave, or, you know, obviously it's hard, a little bit more difficult to manage because it's not like a company doesn't look over them like a supervisor, you know? I mean, one thing I do is I have a whole process for all my students on like how to get VA salespeople, how to interview them, how to put them through the whole process. Because essentially what I do is like everything that I learn how to do for myself, I just document the process, you know? I'm sure you do the same thing, Alicia, because you've mastered it. You went through the trial and error to test and tweak and figure it out. You just create a framework for your students to follow.
Exactly. Systems guys are what creates freedom. And look at you. I mean, you are incredible because you have a very successful online training business yourself. You have that all managed by your team, and you're now coaching other fitness professionals how to do the same thing. And you still have so much freedom in your life, time to do what you want. Like, it is a tribute to the systems that you built and the processes that you have. I know there's a lot of people asking about your coaching on here for both the questions and then everything. So I think, we've got a couple minutes more to answer some questions, but if you guys are interested, you've set up a call for people if you're interested.
Yeah. Like, you know, obviously I want to be able to serve people. So actually, I created a link specifically for the people in this group. It's basically a call link, onlinesupercoach.com/call. And it's a simple 10, 15-minute call to see if or how I can help you. Happy to answer any questions you have, to serve you. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that I shared, but there's a lot of stuff that I just have in my mind that I want to tell you that I can't do on this call. Obviously, if you have specific questions, you want to figure out how you could scale your business using the templates. You want to figure out, you know, some done-for-you systems that you want to implement or customized solution for your needs. Just go on that link, schedule a call, 10, 15 minutes. Want to see if or how I could help you, and then we'll just take it from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, this has been incredible, the things that you've talked about so far. So yeah, if you guys are interested, hit AJ up because he's amazing. And yeah, that's why I wanted you on, because you are the person that I would recommend for online training. So
Much respect.
And getting into it, you are the person to talk to for sure. Is it okay if we answer a couple more questions that people?
I love answering questions. I'm like all day long. This is my superpower. Like I don't even know what time it is where I am right now. I'm in a flow state. So if you give me 5 hours, I'll keep going.
All right. Well, let's do like 10 more minutes, and then we'll end it because we'll be at 90 minutes at that point. Okay. Somebody was asking about insurance.
So, you know, obviously I have to speak lawyer talk now. When it comes to insurance, you have to focus on your state of your country. I would ask to get a professional to figure out like what liability works for you. One thing that I do for the students in my program is I have like liability forms and contracts, like done for you templates that are fully completed. You just add your name and your logo and you get to utilize it. Most people just use that. Most people that do online personal training just use liability forms and contracts that state you're going to enter this exercise or nutrition. You're not going to sue me if you get hurt, you know? But obviously if you want to fully protect yourself, I would hire an attorney that specializes in that area. But, you know, for the most part, most people just use a simple liability form, electronic signature, because obviously they're not going to come in person. So like EchoSign or some type of template where they could use a mouse pad and sign it online.
Excellent. All right, let's see. Is there something for online marketing for dummies? Honestly, I don't know the difference from ClickFunnels, landing pages, and lead pages. Okay, that's something I can we can address that in the Facebook group. But it really just comes down to preference on what you like working with and what is the easiest for you to get stuff out the fastest. Right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, Alicia has so much skill sets in online marketing. I mean, she's one of the masters. You know, I really respect what she's doing. I've admired her for many years. So she has some great resources, but it's such a broad question. It's kind of like someone going up to you and saying, hey, how do I lose weight? You know? So obviously, the more specific the question, the more specific the answer.
Exactly. Yeah. So marketing, that is such a big topic, but we can definitely address some of that stuff in the Facebook group itself to get you some more clarity. We'll go back and forth on that. So Joe, we can talk exactly and see what you're looking for to create, and we can give you a better answer on that. Do you help your students with creating webinars if they are a client of yours, and phone sales scripts?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, a big part of my program is like done for you templates. So I have a high converting webinar template, high converting autoresponder template, high converting video series where it's 80% of the work's done for you. You just add your 20%, you down to the slides, down to the technology that's fully set up. Because obviously I just use converting funnels all the time. So instead of building something from scratch, use something that already works. So you don't have to test and tweak and figure it out for yourself. So yes, for that. And then obviously if you're selling high-end coaching, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 programs, I have a really high converting phone sales script to sell the bigger packages as well. If you want to sell someone off the webinar, you know, down to like line by line, how to present online coaching, how to say it's better than training in person, the pros and the cons of it, the rejections, the objections. So obviously, you know, I'm just really big on taking a system, mastering it, figuring out the ins and outs of it, and then developing a template out of it.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, last question, and then we will call it the end of the webinar, and then you guys can reach out to AJ if you have further questions or want to set up a call with him. So this one's easy. Onlinejobs.ph was one company. What was the name of the other virtual assistant company? Was that just you said it was a private company?
Odesk. And then there's one, this is the private company that I use, but it's a bit pricier, just to give you a heads up. It's called Carve. I believe it's carve.ph. But if you want to just like get in touch with the owner of the company, I've gotten to know him really well because I get a lot of VAs through him. I could like connect you guys. Just send me, you could go on this link or just send me an email and I'll connect you to, because like I said, it's more of a private company. And what they do is they kind of like develop big VA teams. But I would say, you know, if you want to spend money, go that route, totally cool. But if you want to start smaller, you go to like Odesk or onlinejobs.ph, because then you can get a single VA. It'll cost you like, you know, $3 to $4 an hour. And obviously outsource a ton of your tasks. You can focus more in your zone of genius, start from there. And obviously as you get more sophisticated, start making more money, then you could go into a team of VAs.
Absolutely. Here's a tip that I've used for my VAs in the past is if you're hiring somebody new, I usually hire 3 or 4 people for the same thing. And then I'll pick whoever does, I'll hire them for a small bit of the task that I want, you know, somebody to be on my team for a long time. And then I'll see and I'll evaluate their performances and compare them against each other. And then I'll go with the person who did the best. And then I'll choose that person to continue working with. Just like interns, you know, you want to make sure you put a couple people through, you hire the best person for your team after that. So that'll, and VAs, I mean, they're very affordable. So that's a really cool strategy. You don't hire one person and then hope and pray that it works out. Hire a bunch because it's affordable and then pick the best one from there.
I love that strategy.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much, AJ. You have been phenomenal. You've shared a ton of amazing information. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you're interested, hit up that link over there and set up a call with AJ. And just a really, really great guy. And this is my first webinar, and I was so excited to do it with you. Thank you so much. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. And by the way, if there's anything I can do for you, I'll be inside the group, answer questions. Feel free to hit up that call. And if you want to see me in my video marketing, I put a ton of videos out on my Facebook. My Facebook's super easy. It's Facebook.com/AJ Fit. If you got value from this, feel free to tag me. I love the, tags, the likes, whatever. I just want feedback. If you thought this sucked, tell me why it sucked. So tell me your God honest truth. I would really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, AJ.
Thank you, Alicia. Thanks for having me on. And thank you, everybody, for being on this. If you're on the replay, awesome. Appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you. Or AJ, I don't know how to shut this off.
I got it. I'll stop the share.
Okay.
And then I'll stop the recording.
Okay.
All right. I'll see ya.
Thanks, AJ.
Thank you.